Games Workshop miniatures? I do declare miniature mashup is going posh.
Yes, mashed potatoes, I actually dropped what I consider an obscene amount of cash moolah on a box of Dark Grimmer 40k models for this episode because I wanted to collaborate with a friendo, and these seemed like a good fit for us. In the fluff, these demons are the spawn of the god of sadomasochism, and that becomes increasingly obvious when you're trying to glue their fiddly little arms on. There's such a small amount of surface area where the arms join that I had to re-glue some of them several times. I've never seen Tester's plastic cement fail on a plastic model before, but this super powerful plastic bonding agent was no match for the scrawny scorpion hands of these demonic doms. This problem was of course amplified in the banner bearer, whose arm I actually had to pin with some fine copper wire and then glue. That's right, I had to pin a 28mm plastic model together. The plastic is very rigid, which is typical for Games Workshop's products, and while that means it's a little more breakable, it does make kit bashing and customization a bit easier. The torsos are connected to the sprue by the shoulder, and cleaning the remains of the sprue off of something round like a shoulder is a chore. I really wish they would have connected them to the sprue on a flatter part of the model. Obviously, the detail and artistry of the sculpts are top-notch. It's Games Workshop, and their stuff always looks incredible. Another point in Games Workshop's favor is that this kit comes with a bunch of extra limbs and heads. I plan on using those heads to kit bash some Heroclix into vampire miniatures for my D&D game.
Here I am just putting some PVA glue on the base and dipping them into some craft sand using a bit of cork to simulate stone.
Once I've got them all assembled, I take them outside for a little bit of a zenithal prime, just spraying on gray and white. Once they come back inside, I go inside the crevices with a black wash, and I add those dark shadows in, and then I go over some of the highlights with some white as well. Just trying to sketch this whole thing out. The plan is to just glaze some color over this. Now, whether I pull that off or not is up to you. I think I end up having to use a little bit more of my classic reliable layering technique. It's just what I've done for decades and decades. I've only just started glazing things onto sketched out miniatures. Just got a pin vise for this project. I never owned one before, which is amazing. I've been doing modeling miniatures this long. What I always used to use is my Dremel tool, which works a lot faster than a pin dice, but certainly lacks the precision. You do tend to chew up some minis if your hand slips, so Dremel tool is faster, far less reliable. Now for these Daemonettes, I'm going with a lilac skin tone with some dark blue and purple undertones. Their claws, I'm going with black, over which I dry brush a little bit of a gradient of orange to Turner yellow. For the base, I'm using cinnamon, and then I'm dry brushing the same Turner yellow over that. And base is flocked with crash sand and bits of cork. For the hair, I come in with a dark blue base coat to basically act as the shadow, and I then add a few layers. Then I highlight it with lilac and purple, some white at the very end tips. For the clothing, I'm going to leave it white. I think I'm going to call this unit the Brides of Slaanesh. I like the way white plays off of pink. It looks like Majin Buu. Pink and white are good complementary colors. I'm doing a little bit of a Sting from WCW effect with the makeup on their eyes, giving them a little bit of lipstick, trying to make the teeth pop out with some white paint. This project took a little bit of time. These are pricey models, and I want them to look their best. It's intimidating for me because I'm normally painting $2 worth of monster that's, the size of a hill giant or something like that. Something I slapped together from the dollar store, or very cheap models, Heroclix that are stripped, Caesar's miniatures. Don't get me wrong, I've painted tons of Games Workshop stuff, but it's been a minute since I really have gotten into it, and I've never painted these. So I'm just trying to bring my A game here as much as possible, but also there's 10 of them, and I'm trying to get them all done within the span of 2 days, which is about what this project took me all together. Not 48 hours, but I think I sat down in 2 5-hour stretches, so about an hour per mini altogether. You'll see I take them a little bit further than painting. There's a bit of customization coming here too as well. For the banner, I just put it on a silver metal pole. That's sort of the color I went with. Went with white to go with the brides. Now I'm going to start by using my pin vise to drill some holes into the backs of all these minis. This took a while. When I said 2 days, I kind of meant building and paint. In the evenings, I'd put on Star Trek Voyager and just mindlessly drill these holes. I made the pole metal, and I made the claws on the banner match the claws of the Daemonettes themselves. Here's where the customization comes in. I've got 9 pairs of these fairy wings, which are made by Glimmerfay Creations. And they do all kinds of fantasy ornamentation and fairy-themed ornamentation, perfect for cosplay, costumes, Halloween, playing LARPing, that sort of thing. And now also for miniatures. And she did a really great job on them. One of the things that we came up with together is putting the symbol of Slaanesh into the wing itself. So you can see that pattern's right there, so that's awesome. And then she also made the color of the wings match the color of the claws. So they're black, but there's also kind of an orange luminescence in the membrane. It's really nice, really good pairing. I'm very happy with how they turned out. In the evenings, I'd put on Star Trek Voyager and just mindlessly drill these holes into the backs of these Daemonettes. I had to do another 2 into the standard bearer again for her arm. And here's what it looks like up close and personal. Silly Daemonette, don't you know not to reach for your ID in the glove box? Once you've got the holes in the back, it's just a simple matter of using a little E6000 and sticking the wings on in. Here's the finished product. Since you're here and it's the same day I'm trying to release this on, we just got news of the new Heroquest revamp that's possibly coming out from Hasbro. It is a crowd-funded thing, which is always kind of weird from a large corporation. And it looks like it's geared for kids. I am a little disappointed personally. The miniatures look fine, but it looks like the gameplay is exactly the same as far as I can tell, using the same dice and cards and characters. I was really hoping for kind of a little bit of a revamp. Since they own D&D, I thought maybe they'd take it into one of the D&D worlds or incorporate some of the creatures from Dungeons & Dragons or something like that. Doesn't seem to be the case. The plot line seems to be pretty broad and aimed at kids. It's just sort of good versus evil. I mean, not to crap on it, I loved it when I was younger, just not sure it would satisfy me today if I played it, so kind of bummed out by that, but there's my reaction to the new Heroquest announcement. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to support this channel, please consider donating to my GoFundMe. The link for that is in the description below. If you're interested in looking at more of Glimmerfay creations, I've left the link for that website in the description below as well. You can also find the link to our Facebook page. It'd be great if you came on over, took a look at the pictures of this project and pictures from past projects as well, or just said hello. Until next time.